to his knees with perfectly timed warning. For 7 years American people suffered from the illness called Obamacare. The politicians ignored their cry for help and did not repeal this awful issue. They failed the people, failed the American nation and failed the president. Yes, they failed the only man left inside the White House who every single day tries to end this terror that Obama left behind. As Trump says, soon Obamacare will implode and will take down millions of Americans. This is why there needs to be a better plan for repeal and replace. We all know that he is honest and that he is not lying. According to World Politicus, bailouts are a big problem right now, and President Donald Trump wants to fix it. The Republicans who did the unexpected thing need to pay the price for backstabbing. Trump said, Republicans in the Senate will never win if they don't go to a 51-vote majority now. They look like fools and are just wasting time. Chuck Schumer did not like this and attacked the president for not working for the American people. Why are he and everybody like him so ignorant? The president does nothing besides helping the American people at this point. The liberals are so satisfied right now, why they are giving this to them. Schumer said, if the president refuses to make cost-sharing reduction payments, every expert agrees that premiums will go up and health care will be more expensive for millions of Americans. This is the right time for repeal. The Democratic health care failed and Trump with his Republicans knows way better than them. John McCain and the other two should be ashamed of what they did. Crying Chuck Schumer is weeping like baby over Trump's latest viral tweet. Obamacare made a mess out of this nation like never before. The president is getting publicly shamed for his opinion. The liberals hate on Trump so much that they berate every single American by siding together not to repeal Obamacare. For 7 years the American people were the ones who suffered and even died thanks to Obamacare. The senators are ignoring this fact and Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer, DN.Y, on Saturday said that President Trump should start acting presidential, ignoring the fact that he is acting this way since taking office. He took to Twitter to share his opinion, reports The Hill. This comes after President Trump publicly said that he is going to end the payments, known as cost-sharing reduction, CSR, payments due to the fail of Senate GOP efforts this week to repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump said after 7 years of talking repeal and replace, the people of our great country are still being forced to live with imploding Obamacare. By adding, if a new healthcare bill is not approved quickly, bailouts for insurance companies and bailouts for members of Congress will end very soon. Trump for so long talked about these cuts due to the ignorant senators who are doing anything possible to keep Obamacare. If the president decides to do it, it will reduce the price Americans pay for deductibles, co-payments, and insurance. This is so sad because Trump is the only person in here who is not trying to hurt the people out of spite. Anything he said or did was for better future of his citizens. He forced the issue to be repealed in order to blow out Obamacare and fix it by something better for everyone. Finally, the results are in from North Carolina's law to drug test welfare recipients. North Carolina has finally released the results from their first round of drug testing for welfare recipients, and the results are shocking the nation. This was a pilot program and is not instituted statewide yet. More than 7,600 people applied for the Work First program. Of the people tested for drugs, and not all were tested, it was not mandatory testing, just a pilot program to see if is necessary. Advertisement: out of the small sample, almost 25% of the welfare recipients tested positive for drugs. And yes, they lost their benefits. So state and national average for drug use by its population is 8%. So these programs works, as we can all see, and should be implemented where needed. Also, take a look at what Alabama did to their welfare rolls by making one small change to how they hand out welfare. According to the Alabama Department of Human Resources, certain Alabama counties saw an 85% decrease in food stamp recipients after work requirements were put in place on January 1st. This is a huge number and shows all Americans the amount of fraud and abuse our welfare system has, and that we can easily do something about it. We need to take common sense approaches to fixing this bankrupt system that hurts more than just our pocketbook. Because it creeps in and affects people's idea of work. As Alt.com reports, on January 1, 2017, there were 13,663 able-bodied adults without dependents receiving food stamps statewide. That number dropped to 7,483 by May 1, 2017. The 13 counties that implemented the work requirement had 5,538 adults ages 18-50 without dependents receiving food stamps as of January 1, 2017. That number dropped 85% to 831 by May 1, 2017. Based on the trend, the number of able-bodied adults without dependents recipients for SNAP benefits is expected to continue to decline statewide and in the formerly 13 exempted counties, said Alabama DHR spokesperson John Hardy. Look, this obviously works and we need to implement this nationwide immediately. True, the Republicans and the Trump administration want to empower the states to come up with their own fixes to end the abuse, and they should. But when a state program works as good as this one does, we should not be afraid to take the good ideas national and ask the federal government to mandate these changes in order to keep receiving federal aid. Taken as a whole, whether it be food stamp abuse or able-bodied adults gaming the Social Security disability system, like Jesse Jackson Jr. did, we need to fix the system before we go broke. Americans are generous, but when we see immigrants defrauding welfare and Americans who can make more money not working than working, we have reached a point that is unsustainable. If you can make more money or enough money not working, why would anyone work? We are not asking too much to have people work or volunteer in order to get welfare. Because we can see with Alabama, the system is endemic with abuse. Advertisement. Do you think we should make all welfare recipients work and drug test them? Share if you agree. Kellyanne Conway mocks Rachel Maddow in most delicious fashion on live TV. Rachel Maddow has been on a one-woman crusade to take down Trump over the Russian investigation. She devoted most of her TV show each night to all things Trump-Russia. Advertisement. She conspired with the conspiracy theorists, and together their unproven claims did something wonderful for Rachel Maddow. Her ratings spiked to new records never ever seen at MSNBC. She is shattering records at MSNBC and some say is single-handedly saving the failed network. And this morning Kellyanne Conway went out of her busy day to mock Raquel and the rest of the media for all their talk. They got nothing. We were promised the next Watergate, Conway said. We don't even have water polo. We don't have a watermelon. Conway was appearing on Fox News Sunday, and when host Chris Wallace asked her if Trump was thinking about making a big move with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, as some have suggested, from the Department of Justice to lead the Department of Homeland Security. I won't comment on that, Conway said, but I will tell you that the president has expressed frustration with the recusal. So much of President Trump's agenda flows from the Department of Justice. Washington is abuzz with rumors that Trump would make a move and get a new attorney general to rein in Bob Mueller. Some senators like Graham publicly warned Trump not to do it, while Chuck Schumer may keep the Senate in session rather than give Trump a recess appointment. And look at what happened to this ridiculous Russian collusion delusion, Conway said. You see all these journalists who built entire TV sets and lower thirds and screaming graphics and breathless coverage now slinking away this week. You have no there whatsoever. It's so ridiculous. Advertisement. Share this if you agree with Kellyanne Conway. Trump rips up expensive Obama program and American seniors win big. Another day, another Obama-era regulation turned expensive debacle ripped apart by President Trump. This we can get used to. Advertisement. President Donald Trump just ordered the Treasury Department to rid this country of another Obama failure. By way of a regulation meant to help families save for retirement, but ended up being an expensive boondoggle. This one program cost taxpayers $70 million and delivered zilch, nada, nothing for the people who tried to use it. And there were not many of those. According to the Washington Free Beacon, the program was called the Meyer Program. It was enacted by President Barack Obama in 2014. Obama promised the program would help millions, but true to form it was a dud with only 20,000 signing up within the first 2 years. Another 10,000 people signed up after but never put one red cent into their accounts. Taxpayers, however, including the kind of retired people the program was supposed to help, were on the hook for the failure. We paid out over $70 million to keep the program running, which included staff, office, computer servers, etc. As with any government bureaucracy, that waste would grow and grow, but thankfully Trump stepped in and ended it. U.S. Treasurer Vito Carranza said as critics whined about the shuttering the program, "Unfortunately, there has been very little demand for the program, and the cost to taxpayers cannot be justified by the assets in the program." MarketWatch, a leading financial news publisher, said the retirement savings program a good idea with terrible execution. Like all things liberals do, they actually start with good intentions but end in disaster because they simply cannot execute in the real world. Steve Minkwolf, an expert financial planner, summed it up perfectly by saying the programs in the private sector do the job better at a fraction of the cost, so why was Obama meddling? Advertisement: share this if you are so very glad Trump is in office. Trump shocks Congress, will cancel their favorite perk unless they get in line. The Obamacare debacle sent shockwaves through Washington, D.C. Chuck Schumer's celebrating and the GOP is having a pity party. Not the way it is meant to go under total GOP control of government. Advertisement. But the swamp works in mysterious ways, and the muck at the bottom has caught many a man in its clutches, dragging them down to the bottom of American politics. And Trump is not having any of it. He just issued a threat to lawmakers that will make them rethink their position in the swamp. In an interview with Tucker Carlson of Fox News, Vice President Mike Pence echoed that and in fact doubled down on Trump's threat. Pence said, "That's pretty typical of Washington, isn't it? You, more often than not, see one set of rules for the American people and another set of rules for the political class here in our nation's capital. But as we move forward, the point is that whether the president makes a decision, it would be his decision whether to rescind that special treatment for members of Congress and their staffs." Did Pence just say what I thought he said? It's about time. Mike Pence is not playing games, and it appears neither is President Trump. This is a good idea on so many levels. Look, Congress, as federal employees, should have to live with the same consequences as stupid laws they pass as the rest of us. What we want is a healthcare system that works for all of the American people. I think the primary goal first is to give people freedom over their own healthcare choices again. Fair is fair, and Pence went to say, the very essence of living in a free society is people get to make their own decisions. But the president and I truly believe that if you lower the cost of health insurance, if you give Americans more choices in health insurance, that more Americans will choose, more employers will choose, to have and offer health insurance to their employees and have health insurance for their families. And if you make Congress live with their decision, we will without a doubt get better laws coming from the swamp. Advertisement: share this if you agree with Mike Pence and President Trump that the swamp is out of luck unless they get with the program.